Hi, everybody. My name is Michael J. Meyer. I'm mayor of the city of Stuart here in Martin County. I thank you all for attending this presser so that we can get important information out to our community. This is a rapidly evolving situation, and there is a lot of conflicting information out there in the media. We'd like to be able to set the record straight about a few things and give you some important updates. The broad strokes of what has happened so far are that last night, during a routine bridge inspection that occurs every 2 years with the Department of Transportation, a call was made to DOT that there was some falling concrete on the southbound side, on the southbound bridge of the new Roosevelt Bridge. DOT began investigating and did find some rust in the steel cables that had been exposed once the concrete fell. Immediately, the old bridge, Dixie Highway, was closed to traffic to protect anybody that would be walking or driving through from any falling concrete. As well, the southbound bridge was closed while inspection was being done to assess whether or not there was further structural damage. Out of an overabundance of caution, both the A1A Dixie Highway Old Bridge and the southbound bridge were closed. As of this morning, DOT and other national and federal partners have been investigating the northbound bridge to ensure that there is no damage similar to what is seen on the southbound bridge. And unfortunately, they did find some structural issues on the northbound bridge. And so we just received word from DOT that both northbound and southbound bridges, as well as the Dixie Highway Old Bridge, are closed. Again, this is out of an abundance of caution for our public safety. If there is any risk of any falling concrete or structural collapse, we want to make sure that nobody is injured or killed because of it. We did receive word from the DOT just now that they did not give any evidence that the bridge was at risk of imminent collapse. Let me be clear. There is no evidence to suggest that the bridge will collapse imminently. That message was delivered by the Coast Guard early this morning in what we believe was a measure to drive the point home that it was not safe to travel under the bridge. And indeed, the Coast Guard did close at that time all commercial maritime traffic under the bridge. It has since been reopened. It is carefully being managed, but that just goes to show that there is no dire immediate risk of collapse of either of the northbound or southbound bridge.
Why isn't DOT here talking to us about this?
We are disappointed that they aren't here, but we are in contact with them. We understand that at the state level, everybody is on this. And so they're all working as hard as they can to address it. But we did just speak with a DOT representative to give us these updates.
And they're not available to talk even though they're right over the bridge.
They are working on a press release which will be delivered shortly, and they'll be able to answer any direct questions there. We just want to reiterate that as far as our public safety is concerned, we have closed both bridges. Both bridges have been closed by DOT, as well as the smaller old Dixie Highway Roosevelt Bridge, out of an abundance of caution, so that we do not have any death, any injury to our residents, our visitors.
Can you walk us back and give us a timeline as what time?
Let's start the questions later.
What time did
we
you
let
reach
Eric
for
do
this?
We have other.
We have a couple other speakers. We'll answer some questions here in just a
Okay.
few.
But how do you spell your name then?
M-E-I-E-R.
Mike, M-I-K-E?
Yes. I'll turn it over now to our Representative Toby Overdorf.
First of all, thank you all for coming out today to this important issue. Sincerely appreciate it. I want to let you know that our office, as well as Senator Harrell's office, has been with the governor's office and having direct communication. They are certainly aware of this issue and how it impacts both the city of Stuart as well as the Treasure Coast area. We were informed at approximately 2 o'clock today that DOT was in fact going to be closing both the north and southbound lanes. We had originally been told they were going to close it at 4 o'clock. However, then the information came in for a 2 o'clock closure. At that point in time, we obviously wanted to inform the press, and thank you so much for being here so we can get that out to the public. One of the other things we're looking at now are alternative routes that we can look at for our commuters in the area here. We have been working directly with DOT to alleviate tolls on the turnpike so that the folks traveling from Martin Downs Boulevard can go north, and the folks traveling from either Becker Road and or St. Lucie Boulevard could go south without tolls. That has not come through as of yet, but we will certainly let you know immediately when that does come through. Additionally, we are encouraging all members of the public to avoid downtown Stuart. If your normal traffic pattern is going across the Roosevelt Bridge and or Dixie, please find an alternate route. We would certainly advise you not to come to the area of the bridge. Of course, the city of Stuart itself is open. Retail stores, restaurants are all open. However, we would ask that you would find a different way to get here. We are also working on with our emergency services department to find some alternative routes for those services as well. So as this evolves, we do not have a timeline yet from DOT as to how long the bridge will in fact be closed down. We do not have a timeline as to how long the repairs will take and or if they're on both sides. That is evolving information that we will have. As soon as we have it, we will get it out to you and all of our partners. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Senator Harrell, who has some comments on the maritime side.
Thank you all so very much for being here and for helping us get the word out to the citizens of Martin and St. Lucie counties. As you all know, the Roosevelt Bridge is our main thoroughfare. US 1 is a main artery. It is the major thoroughfare by which people transit between Martin and St. Lucie counties. And it is in the heart of downtown Stuart. So this is a major disruption. There is no doubt for the citizens of Martin and St. Lucie counties. And I can tell you that our delegation is working very hard, very closely with the city of Stuart, with the county, and with DOT. We've had extensive conversations with DOT to try and ascertain exactly what the problem is. As the mayor said, this was a routine investigation and a routine inspection of the bridge. They do this in depth every 2 years. So, and then of course they did see the concrete that had fallen. That precipitated the closure and also the closure of the A1A bridge. Both of it is in an abundance of caution. We do not want anyone to be hurt. Unfortunately, the Coast Guard stopped all traffic. Were very concerned, and I'm very concerned about the tweet of imminent collapse. From what we're hearing from the engineers at DOT, that is not the case. There is some rust in some of the infrastructure, and as you may remember, the bridge was built in the 90s, and there is a core center that you can walk actually inside the bridge all the way from one side to the other. And they are inspecting that core right now and looking for signs of rust and corrosion in other parts of the bridge. That is absolutely key. As far as maritime traffic goes, I think the statement that came from the Coast Guard was a little overstatement in an abundance of caution. Again, trying to make sure no one is hurt, and we all understand that. But from what we are hearing from the Department of Transportation, that there is no imminent danger of collapse, period. And that the Department of Transportation does not see the need to close boat traffic underneath the bridge. So we are working with the Department of Transportation. They are in contact with the Coast Guard, and perhaps from the Coast Guard we'll hear another, perhaps some change in their recommendation, actually their edict, that there'll be no commercial boat traffic underneath the bridge. I think we all know that our water is our lifestyle, our lifeblood here in Martin and St. Lucie counties. And to close down boating traffic is very problematic. Of course, we want to keep our citizens safe. That is the number one issue. We want to keep everyone safe. So we will follow the recommendations. I think DOT is the one doing the inspections, and they will be very careful in what they do, and they will keep us informed, and we will certainly keep you all informed. We want our citizens to know exactly what is happening, and in an abundance of caution, please be very careful. And as Representative Oberdorf said, go west, young man, go west. Take the turnpike. No tolls, we're hoping, we're working on that. And go west. Take the turnpike.
What about hurricane evacuations?
That would be, of course, hopefully we have no hurricanes immediately.
Right.
That would be something that would be absolutely part of an emergency plan that would have to be addressed in should we have anything forthcoming.
What do you think about the DOT's responsiveness? I mean, why do you think it's good for them not to be here to address the public?
I think they are in the process. They will have a press release, as you just heard, and that will be forthcoming immediately.
But, so just to be clear, though, the issue was not, this didn't come to light because of some 911 call saying there's concrete falling.
Correct. It's my understanding that it was a routine inspection.
Right.
Has been going on for several days, maybe a week. And that the concrete falling off was then, they were notified about that.
So they didn't see the concrete falling?
No, it's not. It's my understanding that they did not, but that would be a question specifically for DOT.
Well, we would love to ask them, but they're not here.
They would, there will be a press release, my understanding, and
I
at
saw
that
it.
point,
It's not mentioned in there.
at that point, you can contact, and the, okay.
The reason why I'm
Chief
asking
Terminelli.
is a
Terminelli
little
from
bit
the
of
city of
narrative.
Stuart.
We're getting a different
Good
narrative.
afternoon. One of my main concerns is obviously safety, as everybody just previously said. We are suggesting, and my main concern is the traffic. So we are going to have some very serious traffic issues because obviously the Roosevelt Bridge is the main thoroughfare. My suggestion is that everybody head west, as the senator explained earlier. Please bear with us while we work through this problem. Our 911 centers, to include the Martin County Sheriff's Office, fielded a large amount of calls earlier today about this incident. That's why we're here now. And I understand, that FDOT is not here at this point. We can't answer for that, but we can answer for what we know right now. And my suggestion is that traffic head west, and as my colleagues here earlier said, make sure we are safe, come to downtown, but try and find a different route.
Can you explain also why you're stressing drivers head west rather than maybe trying to take some of the east or head up a neighborhood drive?
As Mr. Oberdorf said, is the turnpike, the State Road 76, they are wider roads. If you go east, it becomes into a single lane if you're traveling up the beach. So if everybody goes west, it's a larger amount of better thoroughfare for everybody to go to west and around. It's unfortunate that I have to go to west and go to my home in Jensen Beach, but that is what we have to deal with at this point.
What do you estimate the additional drive time is going to be for your average user?
Estimation, I can tell you probably tomorrow when I drive it today, to be quite honest with you, 30, 40 minutes, I'm assuming, without doing it, I don't know.
What do you think the impact is going to be to downtown businesses?
Hopefully minimal, because we want everybody to come down to the city of Stuart and enjoy the restaurants, shopping as well, so.
Can you clarify the timeline? Because we were kind of a slightly different understanding maybe that I had regarding the falling of the concrete. My understanding was that it was a 911 call reported that. Can you clarify that or get the facts straight?
I was informed of this last night by one of my midnight sergeants, actually my captain, and I responded out, and this is how this came about. As for the 911 call, I did not have a chance to even research if we had a 911 call at this point, but I was informed that the bridge had a problem, and we came out and then we started shutting that bridge last night. So
I can respond to that too.
it was about midnight, right around midnight.
If I can respond to that too, we in our conference call with DOT we just recently had, they gave us a timeline. They were here last night for a routine inspection. There was some maintenance that was going on. While they were doing the inspection, they were informed that a piece of material came off of the bridge at that point in time. They had the inspectors here at that point. They went internal to the southbound bridge at that point, found an issue, and made out of an abundance of caution, they made the determination to in fact shut down that southbound and ordered an inspection throughout the entire area of both the northbound and southbound. Now, out of an abundance of caution and what they have found internally on that bridge, they have shut down both. So that's a little bit of your timeline.
Can you say anything more about the extent of the corrosion or the rust that they're finding inside the bridge? I mean, is it just one little, 10-foot area, or does it look to be a significant portion of the bridge?
Considering they've shut down the bridge in both directions, I would say that it's significant, but at this point, they're getting back to us with additional details.
We also heard that there might have, I guess there was already some paving work being done on the bridge last night as well, maybe in addition to this inspection. We heard that maybe there was a road worker or someone who was working on the paving that spotted.
That's unconfirmed at this point in time.
So you're saying if FDOT told the Coast Guard that it was just out of an abundance of caution, maybe they wouldn't have made an announcement there was an imminent danger?
Again, those are two, it's a federal agency and a state agency that are apparently not on the same page until now. Now we're all on the same page.
Now that collapsing concrete, did it fall on any vehicles or any property that we know of?
It did not fall on any vehicles, no.
Just the impact of not knowing if this is a week-long issue, a multiple months-long issue. I anticipate there's going to need to be some kind of I don't know if there's broader public education efforts that are being out there, or what kind of resources are really going to be needed to sustain such a major interruption to the daily traffic patterns here?
Well, 2020 has been an interesting year, and we aren't really sure what's going to be happening next. We could not have predicted this issue either. All I can tell you is the team behind me, City of Stuart, is led very well. Our delegation is led well. We're going to be continuing to communicate. That's the best thing that we can do. We will be holding the folks that are going to be doing the repairs to the shortest timeline possible, and we will certainly inform the public at all possible ways and be utilizing both our local Stuart City Police Department as well as the Sheriff's Office to coordinate for traffic, to make sure we have emergency response times down, and other conveniences that we kind of take for granted in having this incredibly gorgeous bridge here. So hopefully we'll get right back to the repairs and get back to life as it's normal in 2020.
And if I could address that too.
Please.
If I may just add a little bit. And both Representative Oberdorf and I have been in contact with the governor's office. We've been in contact with leadership in both chambers, and we will be working very closely as a delegation to make sure that this becomes a priority for the Department of Transportation. And as soon as we have any additional information as to timeframes, in fact, that was one of the primary questions we had today for DOT. It's too early to tell that. A detailed, very in-depth, detailed inspection now is warranted. And we want to make sure that that is done to the highest level and that we know exactly what is going on. So I would anticipate it would be weeks, perhaps. It's not going to be days in my book, from knowing how these things work. But DOT, we have assurances from DOT that they are working on this, and we have assurances from the highest levels that this is a priority. We are all committed to making sure we get this remedied as soon as possible.
Just want to introduce Commissioner Smith, who just has a comment from the county, Martin County.
Thank you, Representative Overdorf. So if you haven't gathered from all of our speakers, I think one of the things we are incredibly fortunate to have here in our region is a really unified front from our senator to our representatives to our city to the county. All of us have been in contact with each other throughout the day. We've also been in contact with FDOT. Our staff has been working on it since first thing this morning. And I think the one thing I would share with you from a perspective of how it was found, when it was found, why it was found, is the idea behind this whole maintenance and how we allocate funds and why we do what we do. The reason why we have regularly scheduled maintenance inspections is so that we find problems before they become a crisis. Thankfully, where we are today, no one's been hurt. We haven't had any kind of significant failure, and we got it, I hope, long before anything else further happens to the bridge and happens to our infrastructure that surrounds that bridge. As the senator has pointed out, as a representative, and our mayor has pointed out from the city of Stuart, you have the best people in the business, in the industry working on this. They have called in teams of experts from all over the country that work specifically on this style bridge so that they fully understand where other bridges have gone through any like examples of what ours is going through. And what I think you will find from what Senator Harrell just pointed out, the time at which we will respond and the FDOT will respond to what those fixes may be will be considerably condensed relative to the knowledge and the mindset that we have brought in. I say we, FDOT has brought in from around the country and around the state to understand what the conditions are with the bridge. So if you were to leave with anything, and I think the message that's probably the most important is the coordinated effort between all of our agencies, and we try not to get in each other's way. Everybody has a role in this. The chief has done a fabulous job. Our sheriff is engaged. Every component of what you would deal with on a major piece of infrastructure like that is got issues with it is getting coordinated. So I, for one, from the county, am most appreciative that we have the leadership that we have sitting behind me and with us. I talked to Senator Harrell first thing this morning. She was already in communication with the leadership in Tallahassee and the governor's office. You can't ask for more than that relative to dealing with a crisis as it presents itself. And so rest assured, from her office, from Representative Overdorf's office, our county, the city, we will coordinate all of the response to this with you all. And thank you very, very much for being here. This is one of the best parts of what you all do, is communicating what we know to be as factual and close to you as we can get you the information. So again, thank you all for being here, and thanks for the leadership that has taken the role and the leadership in making this happen. Thank you all.
Thank you.
What resources are being given to business owners that are being affected?
I'm sorry?
What resources are being provided to business owners that are being affected?
At this point, we're just evaluating. We haven't made that decision yet at this point in time.
When was the last inspection prior to this most recent inspection?
I'll be happy to ask DOT that question.
We would like to ask them ourselves, but do you think they'll be able to, out here at the next news conference?
I would ask though, since right now there are inspections every 2 years, given it's safe to assume at this point, I know this is a more appropriate question for FDOT, but if they are on track with their inspections and we're finding the last inspection was sufficient and we're seeing this much rust or changes in the structure of the bridge 2 years later, do you all feel, there needs to be more frequent inspections? Is that something that you guys think you're going to look into or talk about?
We'll certainly be looking into that and looking at the last inspection reports. I think obviously that's an area that all the folks that are behind me and next to me will be looking at and seeing the timing of those inspections and what they found the last time. Thank you.
All the traffic on the bridge closed, but the boat traffic is fine?
Boat traffic is okay. Train traffic is also authorized at this time. The automobile traffic, northbound, southbound on the Roosevelt Bridge as well as on Dixie Highway, is fully 100% shut down until further notice.